What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to change the spark plugs on this 2008 Honda Accord with a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder. This is pretty straightforward, so let's jump right in.
First you need to remove this cover. This is secured with 4 10mm bolts. So grab your socket wrench and remove all 4 bolts. I believe all 4 of these bolts are exactly the same, meaning not only are they 10mm, but they are also the same thread pitch and length. Once those are removed, the cover should come right off. Now let's disconnect those electrical connectors. There is a trick to remove these without breaking them. You want to push the connector towards the coil pack and then push down on the end of this tab right here. When you do that, you will notice the end of the tab closest to the coil will pop up. This is what you want to release that connector from the coil. As you can see, it will slide right off. Now do the same with the other 3 connectors. Again, push in and then press down on the end of the tab. Then you can remove the connector. Push in, press down, and remove. Now we can remove the 4 coil pack bolts. These are also 10mm. Once those are removed, we can move on. Alright, now take out your first coil pack and make sure it's dry. If there is oil around the coil pack, you most likely have a valve cover leak and need to replace the gasket. This one looks good, so hopefully the other 3 are as clean as this one. Now let's remove the spark plug. To make this easier on me, I'm going to use a special spark plug socket with built-in extension. They also have a magnet inside of the socket to make removing and installing the plugs a lot easier. The one I'm using is 5/8. Go ahead and insert the socket into the spark plug bore and make sure the socket aligns with the spark plug. Once that's good, go ahead and begin unscrewing the spark plug. Since there is a magnet built into the socket, you can easily check to see if the spark plug is free or not. Just lift the socket out of the hole, and if the plug isn't attached, then you need to loosen it some more. Do this until the spark plug comes out. And there it is. You can see how strong the magnet is, which again is perfect for not only removing the old plugs, but also installing them, as you will see in just a second. Now let's check the gap on the old plugs and see how close they are to the correct specification. These are supposed to read 0.044 and this one is currently 0.047. So it's slightly off, but not too far to cause a misfire. However, it could still rob you of some gas mileage, so it's a good thing to check them about every 30,000 miles or so to ensure your engine is running as efficient as possible. Now grab your new plug and gap it as needed. This one is right around 0.041, so we need to increase the gap to reach our target of 0.044. All you want to do is put the end of the tool between the ground electrode and center electrode and pull up slightly to increase the gap. Then check the gap again. As you can see, this plug is gapped exactly where we want it, so now we can install it. So put your spark plug into your handy dandy magnetic socket and then carefully lower it into the spark plug bore. Make sure the extension is as straight as possible to prevent cross-threading your new plug. If you feel any resistance while screwing the plug in, back it out and start over. These should screw relatively easily until it bottoms out. Once it stops turning by hand, you can grab your ratchet and then connect your spark plug extension tool. If you are using a torque wrench, tighten these plugs down to 13 foot-pounds. Now we can move on to the coil boot. Make sure you pick up some dielectric grease to ensure proper connection between the boot and the plug. This is easy to apply. After you take off the cap to the grease, insert the tube of the grease into the end of the coil boot and then give it a squeeze. Now just remove the grease at some kind of angle to ensure the grease does not pull out of the boot. That's it. Pretty simple, right? You can now put the coil back into place and then reconnect your electrical connector. This is going to be the same process for the other 3, but I will walk you through it. Again, remove your coil pack and make sure the end is not covered in oil. This one looks great. Now insert your socket with extension and loosen the spark plug. Once you feel the spark plug is loose enough, remove your ratchet and unscrew the plug by hand until the plug is completely free. Now remove the old spark plug. Grab your gap tool and make sure your new plug is properly set to 0.044. This one also needs to be increased slightly, so pry it open a little and then check again. Now that looks perfect, so let's get the spark plug installed. Insert the plug into the socket and feed the tool into the spark plug bore. Now carefully screw the spark plug into place, keeping in mind that you need to keep the extension as straight as possible. Again, if you feel too much resistance in the beginning, then you are probably cross-threading it and need to start over. Once the spark plug has bottomed out, grab your ratchet or torque wrench and tighten it down. Remove the ratchet and extension and grab your boot and apply your grease. Insert your coil pack back into place and then connect your electrical connector. That's 2, so let's remove the 3rd plug. Remove your coil pack, again making sure it's clean and not covered in oil. Insert your socket with extension and loosen the spark plug. Once you feel the spark plug is loose enough, remove your ratchet and unscrew the plug by hand until the plug is completely free. Remove the old spark plug. Grab your gap tool and make sure your new plug is properly set to 0.044. This one also needs to be adjusted as the gap is too small, so pry it a little and check again. Now this time I felt like I pried it a little too much, so now I'm going to push the ground electrode with the back of the gap tool and then check again. That's perfect. Feed the tool into the spark plug bore. Now carefully screw the spark plug into place, keeping in mind you need to keep the extension as straight as possible. Again, if you feel too much resistance in the beginning, then you are probably cross-threading it and need to start over. Once the spark plug is bottomed out, grab your ratchet or torque wrench and tighten it down. Remove the ratchet and extension and grab your boot and apply your grease. Insert your coil pack back into place and then connect your electrical connector. That's 3. Let's get the last one out and finish this. Remove your coil pack, make sure it's clean and not covered in oil. Insert your socket with extension and loosen the spark plug. Once you feel the spark plug is loose enough, remove your ratchet and unscrew the plug by hand until the plug is completely free. Remove the old spark plug. Grab your gap tool and make sure your new plug is properly set to 0.044. This one also needs to be adjusted as the gap is too small. So pry it a little and check again. And again, I pried a little too much. That's no problem, as I would just push the electrode into the back of the gap tool and check again. Yep, that's perfect. Now feed the tool into the spark plug bore and carefully screw the spark plug into place. Keeping in mind you need to keep the extension as straight as possible. Again, if you feel too much resistance in the beginning, then you need to start over because you're probably cross-threading it. Once the spark plug has bottomed out, grab your ratchet or torque wrench and tighten it down. Remove the ratchet and extension and grab your boot and apply your grease. Insert your coil pack back into place and then connect your electrical connector. Now let's get those coil pack bolts back into place. Again, each of these are 10mm. Screw them all by hand without the help of a ratchet first. Now you can grab your ratchet and tighten them down. These are screwing into your plastic coil pack, so you don't want to over tighten them. What I like to do is the minute I feel the bolt get tight, I will just turn the ratchet a little bit and then move on to the next one. That should be enough to keep the bolt from loosening over time, and you won't have to worry about cracking the plastic coil pack. All that's left is the coil cover. Place the cover up top and make sure it kind of falls into place, just like that. Now grab your bolts and tighten them in by hand. Then grab your ratchet and give each bolt a little turn. And we are finished. That's all there is to it. If you found any part of this video helpful or entertaining, please give it a thumbs up. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button as well as the notification bell so you don't miss a video from our channel. Thanks for watching and we'll see you on the next one.